All right, so we basically going to deal with this chapter, and after that, we're going to focus on the last part of chapter 5. I mean, we still have another part for that, but this is not the last one. However, I feel like most of you have a lot of trouble with the multiplications and addition rules. The reason why we call multiplication because we look for the conditional probability and the given. So let me just remind us, and then we're going to look at the questions coming from the chapter review. I believe that's really, really important. So any concern, any question before we started? Any questions with any questions about the chapter probability?
Dile que tampoco me voy a buscar en Wikipedia ni
I'm sorry?
to be reliable. So New York Times, vaina así. Like,
Okay. So this is the exam review. Let me just share, and then we're gonna go to chapter 5 real quick, and then we're gonna try to do like work on a few questions like that. Okay, so this is the exam 1 review. I think I upload on Blackboard, so I make sure that we have different chapters for different stuff. I have to pick up my diploma from high school. Okay, I'll mark that, and then I want to mark it for you. So what's going on is that we're going to try to like work on the few questions about the end. So let me just making sure that we understand. Yeah, I think question 5, the practice quiz, is I don't think it is a practice quiz. I'm not sure. Let me double check that real quick. So our class will be math. Okay, D13. Let's check them out. And let me just double check that real quick. I think it was from practice questions, correct? Question number 5. Let me just have them. So this is the questions, and I believe it is. I don't think that I have any trouble. Let me just double check that real quick. So in math 23 classes, 45% are female, and 35% are nursing majors, and 80% of female nursing major. And we want to find a probability that a that's the exam review. Okay, so let me just go over a certain things like that. Okay, so so let me just remind this when it comes to the probability of the or, and this is really important that making sure that we uh, understand and remember that on the exam. So we need to add up 2 big and subtract the smallest. Okay, subtract the smallest. This is somewhat really important. Even if it's like it's just like one line, but it's just whatever that we have to do. So whenever we see the or, we need to add up like the big, and then we subtract the joint. So the smallest would be the joint probability. Okay, that's really important. So now we're gonna go to the next part of it, the or, the n. So so the probability of the n generally, we need to take the conditional probability. Okay, and then we multiply by the given. by the given probability. Yeah, that one was really, really tragic, but the reason why this one is pretty challenging because of the fact that we need to look for conditional probability, and this only work for the word problem. So let me just remind you, this is only work for like the word problem. Okay, so that one was really, really important. We need to understand that this only work for the word problem. Okay, word problem. So let's look at question number 5. Like one person said, what we need to figure it out and see what it is. And I'm gonna copy and paste. Just want to make sure that we can do it really fast. Okay. So we're going to look at the keyword for that. So we're going to highlight a keyword. The keyword that we have is or. So that's really, really important. Okay, so we're going to read the questions for the word problems. And then when you highlight a keyword, in this case, so we have 45%, 35%, and then the join is 18 female nursing majors. That pretty obvious for all of us that we need to take the biggest, subtract this. We're going to add up too big, so probably the or. We're going to a female or nursing major. So I'm going to mark with using different markers so that we can literally know what we're doing so far. Will be 45%. So remember, when you add them up, we do not have to convert to the decimal number. Just do them, okay? And then we subtract them, and then you got to find your answers for this part. Okay, let me just go for the calculator. Okay. Oops. And let's see. All right. So remember that we allowed to use calculator. Make sure that we're not gonna do it by hand because it take forever for that. So even if we can't figure this out, this is 62%, but we can do it very slowly at minus 18. And we have the answer 62%. Okay, so that's really, really important. And we're gonna box the answers at the end so that we can have like the thing that we need to do, right? So let's try another questions and see how it goes for the on the exam one review. So assuming that this is the question 28 from the exam one review, let's go for it. Okay, so assuming that we have a certain problem like that, and so this is what we have. So after we finish it for the or, and then we're now gonna deal with that again. So let me just do that. Question number 28, and we want you to look at this one. I'm gonna zoom the question a little bit bigger so I can see what it is. Okay, and I'm gonna make sure that we have the different questions. I'm gonna draw a line for the social distancing for that. And okay, so what's going on for that is, so again, that the keyword in this case will be the or. So meaning that we're going to add up too big and subtract the smallest, right? So the problem.
Are you going to a problem with the and word?
Absolutely. So it took time.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Admit it. Yeah.
So you see how
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let me just finish that, and then we're gonna move on the and real quick. So whenever you come to the or, just add up too big and subtract the smallest, so we get 20%. I feel like that's really important. So we're gonna change the marker a little bit for this type of questions. Okay. So I changed that to or, and then I'm gonna go to the and real quick for that. So how can I pick the question with the and? It's generally very easy for me. That's fine. I got you. Still working today? So let's me just pick a question with the and. For instance, we have I think I have to go for the exam review. So in a recent survey, this is question number 27 from the list, and let's see what it is. Okay, so question number 27. This is from the exam review. Okay, so making sure that we point out real quick. And so the keyword that I'm going to highlight will be the things right there. So this is n, right? So when it comes to the n, what should we do? We need to multiply. I have to box them, right? Because this is a very important keyword. We have to read the entire question for that, and then go for it. So the probability of the n, generally, I want to highlight this a little bit. Okay, so what are we looking for? So will be 70% of the student who major in criminal justice and John Jay. So you want to look for criminal justice and John Jay, right? So that's pretty obvious. And most of the people who a major in criminal justice will be transferring to John Jay College, and then the John Jay, it's generally obvious for all of us. So I'm going to change the marker a little bit so that we can know what are we trying to do. Okay, so how do you know which one will be a conditional probability? So we're gonna read that one. So 70% of the BCC student. So we're gonna highlight this one. So we have two different types of the info, right? So criminal justice and John Jay, right? Both of that has two different types of the information. Are we good? So we're going to consider that 70% will be the conditional probability, right? So whenever the questions has two different info, that will be the conditional probability. So it's pretty important because when you look for the n, is also have like criminal justice John Jay. So this so 70% have to be the conditional probability. So and then we need to get rid of one, so that'd be 70%. We cannot get rid of this number. We cannot get rid of this number. So we're gonna point it out real quick. So this is the number that we're looking for, right? So 70%. Another percentage that we might want to look at will be 20% of the BCC student, and we also have 40%. So we need to get rid of one of this, okay? So what is the 20%? So 20% will be the probability of what? Of the people who go to John Jay. So the probability of John Jay will be 20%. Okay. And then we have 40% will be the probability who major in criminal justice, right? So I would say CJ, right? Just want to make sure that it's easy for me. And so that'll be 40%. So which one that we should get rid of? That's really, really important. So we need to identify this one. 70% is what? Is the percentage of people who go to John Jay. That one is go to John Jay. Remember that.
I have a question.
Let me just finish that, and then you can ask me the question. So 70% is what? Is the percentage of people go to John Jay for those who major in criminal justice. So this one also the John Jay major. But it's coming from what? It comes from CJ, right? From criminal justice major, right? So we can read the question: 70% of the BCC student who major in criminal justice, right? So this is not the main point. The 70% is actually people who go to John Jay, right? So we can't have the same thing. We cannot multiply the same thing. In other words, we need to cross out 20%. Yes, you have questions, sir? Yeah.
It's a wait.
Yeah.
It's a conditional probability because it has the n.
No. It has two types of info. You can read the sentence real quick. What are we looking for? We're looking for criminal justice and people who go to John Jay, right? But you look at a conditional probability, it has two types of the different information. So it has criminal justice. It also has John Jay. Make sense? The other percentages that we can read them, like 20% go to John Jay, only one single information. And 40% is go to criminal justice, only one single information. So this one cannot be conditional probability. So 70% have to be the conditional probability. And then we need to convert that into 0.7, correct?
Yes.
So we're going
And
to,
why you crossed out 20%?
the reason why we cross out 20% because we cannot multiply two same percentages together. So 70% is also a percentage of the John Jay, and 20%, this is also the percentage of John Jay. So we cannot multiply them together. Make sense? So we read that. So this is 70% of people who go to John Jay, but coming from what major? From CJ, from criminal justice major. However, this 20% is the percentage of people who transfer or who go to John Jay in general. So that gonna be like two same percentage. I mean, it's not gonna be the same thing, but it's literally like pretty much the same. Like the percentage of people who go to John Jay, but one is for general people and one is from criminal justice major. So meaning that we cannot take that 20% into account. Or in other words, we're going to take 0.7 times 0.4. So remember that when we multiply them, it's always important that we convert them to decimal number. So 70% will be divided by 100. We're going to get 0.7. And 40%, so percentage means you divide it by 100, correct? And then when we divide them by 100, we got 0.4. So, and then we're gonna take those, multiply them together, and make sure that we're not gonna do it by hand. And the answer for that is 0.28. Okay, so remember this one is really complicated. We need to know what is that percentage mean to it? What is that percentage coming from? It's really important. It is the 70%. It is the percentage of people who transferring who go to John Jay, but coming from what? It's coming from the CJ. Yep, Rob, you have questions?
So how is it that you can leave the 40% of criminal justice?
We're going to convert that to decimal number. Yeah, we have to use that because this is the condition. This is the given, right? Let me just use different marker for that. This is the given, right? Correct? Because this is 40% is the given, right? Of the people who go to John Jay, right? So 70% will be people who go to John Jay, given that person is coming from the criminal justice major. So this one is given probability, correct? But identifying the given probability somewhat it's not quite easy for all of us. Okay, so understanding like we can't multiply two same thing together. I feel like that's a little easier. This is coming from my student method that I picked up a few years ago. I feel like it's worked out. It doesn't require a lot of understanding of what it is. We just need to do with that. Okay, so let me just try to work on questions like that. So question number 33, and let's see what it is. Okay, so yes, you have to do the decimal because when you multiply two percentages, we're gonna get something different. So let's say I take 70%, I take 70 times 40. What do you get? You're gonna get 70 times 40, we're gonna get 2,800, right? But if we need to convert to a decimal point, so like 0.28, but it's really, really complicated. So that's the reason why we literally just take that and convert them into percentage. And I feel like this is the only way that we can do it from. Okay, so let me just try to do another questions. I believe this is question number, again, that the reason why I'm doing that is as well on the exam review, because so that when we come back to the question, we don't have to worry about that. So question number 33. Okay. All right, so what's going on for that questions? And again, that a keyword that we can literally know what it is. The keyword for that is N, correct? We're gonna highlight that with different marker. Okay, so we're going to analyze that. We're going to look for the probability of admin and female, correct? So what's going on for that is we're going to look for the conditional probability. So first of all, the commuter is composed 30% of female. So this is a single probability. So it's only give us 30% of female. So that'd be 30%, okay? And this is a single probability for sure. We're not sure if we need to get rid of that. And also 6% of the admin. So one of these will be killed for sure, 100%. We got assassinated generally. So now we're gonna read the sessions among the administrators, 10% of female, correct? So this is have to be the conditional probability. So this 10% have to be the conditional probability. Why is that? Because you can literally check is content admin and female in this case, right? So apparently that we need to understand this one is somewhat conditional probability. It's content information like admin and female. We have two types of the info. This one have to be the conditional probability. Okay. So, and now it's have to be 0.1 because we
So
convert.
question.
Yeah.
Let me get this straight. So like if it has the two
Two different type of the information like coming from the questions female and admin, you can check them
okay,
for each
then
sentence.
that's
That's the
probability.
conditional
Um,
probability that we cannot get rid
okay.
of. So, and then the second thing that we have to look at, this 10% are the percentage of female, but we can't multiply two female together, correct? Because this 10% of female, so this is the female given that person is coming from the administration's department. So meaning that we can't multiply, so this is 10% of female and this is 30% of female, so we can't multiply them together. So one of them have to be killed, right? So that one. And then we just multiply these two together. So we can convert that to 0.6, correct? So 60% with 0.6. So we're going to multiply these two numbers together and we got to find the answers correctly. So we're going to be 0.6.
Does it matter which one you get rid of?
It does matter. So remember that we need to get rid of, we can't multiply the same thing. If we get rid of the wrong thing, then the answers have to be wrong. So if we get rid of the admin, we're going to get the different answers. So the reason why we need to get rid of the female, because we cannot multiply the same thing together. Let me just repeat that again. So we cannot multiply the same thing together. So the same thing, this is the 70% of the people who are coming from a John Jay. So we can't multiply two John Jays together. So we have to get rid of the one with a single probability. Okay. So so this is conditional probability is always be something that we need to maintain. And the reason why we get rid of the female because we cannot multiply the two same thing together, right? Both female. Make sense? I feel like this is the easiest.
Yes.
Yeah, this is the easiest way that we can understand. My way of knowing instructing my student was a little bit complicated. That one was something that we just realized what is the single probability that we need to get rid of female. Why is that? Because it's basically the same type of the conditional probability, but the conditional probability is 10% coming from what? It's coming from the administrators, okay? So this 10% with female cannot multiply with 30% of female. It has to be 60% of the admin. All right, so yes, you have questions? To John Jay together. Okay, so get rid of. Anyway, so this is the thing that Rob, you have questions? Robert?
No, sorry, I just never lowered the hand.
Okay, so that's fantastic. That I know. If you have any question, let me know. Every single thing is always be like that on the final exam. So the final exam is hard because this one is going to be. I would tell you that there will be around 60% or even more. It should be 80% of people who got the answers wrong. The reason behind that because it was complicated. So now we're going to deal with the next part of it. The next part will be contingency table. This is something that I need to take one example and go over what it is. The next part we're gonna call contingency table. It's have to be the table like that, and they have to be on the exam around 20 points on the third exam. The final exam will be around 12 points to 14 points for the type of question. So this one is really, really important. So I make sure that people actually get this straight and understand how to deal with that on the exam. So I hopefully that at the end of the day that you guys can understand all the concept for this part. So the contingency table is basically a chart, a table given from a survey of a number of people So they might have some common interests, they may not have the common interests, and so on and so forth. And then we need to find the probability. Okay. It's slightly different from the Venn diagram, but it's pretty much acting the same thing. Instead of we putting on like 2, 3, 4 circle, now we're going to put them on a chart. So the questions that I would like to go over will be from the exam review. I believe that one is really, really important. So I'm going to copy and paste this question. And I also consider these questions are very, very important because it's coming from the final exam review as well. Okay, so this is what the question looks like. And I want you to look at what question that we have to look for. So this was question number, that was question number 29 on the list. Okay, 29. So now we need to figure this out and see how we're gonna solve for this problem. So the first thing that we need to know was, I'm gonna copy that later on. So this is a thing that we need to understand. So we have the row total and then we have a column total. So what is the 351? Can somebody tell me what it is? What is 351? What is that number going to tell us?
Number of students the first year.
The number of students for the first year.
Yeah, freshmen, right? In other words, that will be the total of the freshmen. Do we agree? So understanding the table is critically important. And what is 421? The row total, right? So the row total would be the number of
Business.
business, very good. And what is 1259? What is that number mean?
The number of column totals.
The column total and the row total, right? So the total of everything. So how do you know this is the total of everything? Because when we add them up, like all of this values, we're gonna get 1259. In other words, if I take 421 plus 370 plus 321 plus 147, what do we get? I got 1259, right? So that'd be a row total. But if I do the same thing, so I might just do it a little bit easier for us. I'm gonna just add them up, right? Just want to show people that they have to be the total of the row and the total of the column. They end up just getting the same number, which is 1259, no matter how we go. Or it can be like I'm going to take the same thing. I'm going to take the freshman student, that'll be 351 plus the sophomore plus the junior plus the senior. I'm going to get the same thing as well. If I add up the total number of the majors, like 21 to 21 business major, 370 psychology majors, 321 nursing major, and 147 biology major, I'm going to get the same thing. So I proved this for the row total, but I haven't proved for the column total. I'm going to take 351 plus 311 plus 300 plus 297. So apparently we end up getting the same number, the same value, which is 1259. So this is the total of everything. So that's really, really important because most of the questions gonna having the same thing that we had. I'm gonna make it a little smaller so we can see through what it is. I think 14 should be okay. Okay. And then the next thing that I would like to ask people, what is the 90 mean to us? 90. Can somebody tell me what is the 90 number represent? The 90 right there. What is this?
It represents number of sophomores who do business.
Yeah, so we need to understand this one. So this is the joint. This is the joint between the business and sophomore. Okay, so sophomore and business. So when it comes to the and questions like that, we're not gonna multiply them, right? So we only multiply if we have a word problem like that. So when it comes to the join for this particular question like this is the and. We do not multiply. We just take this value and then we divide it by 1,2.9 at the end. This is what we want to look for a conditional probability. Can somebody tell me what is this 79 means to us? 79 right there. This one, 79.
Number of juniors going in for nursing.
Yes, so the junior nursing, in other words, that we have the junior and nursing. So we need to make sure that I put down the keyword and making sure that we're not making mistakes like that on the exam. So this one would have to be nursing. All right, so so my question, it should be different from what we have. So what is the let me just read the question real quick from the notes. What is the probability of being a business major? What is the probability of being a business major? So how many number who are in business major? Will be?
2.
No, how many people who major in business? How many?
115.
Why 115?
Is it 421?
Very good. The 115 is just the number of people, it's just the number of the freshmen who major in business, right? So we need to consider the sophomore and junior and senior as well. So the number of the business, in other words, that we have to look at the row total, which is right there. So how can we do that? So we have to go all the way straight. I'm gonna get rid of this part later on, right? And that one, correct? So we have to go all the way to the right to look for the total number of business. In this case, that'll be 421. Are we good? Are we good? So I'm gonna get rid of this line. And so that'll be 421. And then what number should we divide?
1259.
Very good, 1259. This is the number that we always have to divide by the total of everything for most of the questions. So 221 over 1259, okay? Or 1259. So that's really, really important. So in other words, when it comes to a certain number like that, what should we do? I'm going to highlight this real quick. I need to take the row total of the business, right? So this is the total of business over the total of everything of business over the total of everything. So I just want to make sure that everybody got this question correctly. So total of everything, right? I mean, all people in generally. Okay, so that one's really, really important. So now we're going to go to the next questions and see what's going on. So part B, I want to look for the probability of, let me just do that. The probability of sophomore major. So what is the probability of a sophomore major? Can somebody tell me what should I do? Sophomore.
Divide?
I know it's always be divided and we don't have to convert you. Yeah. So but which number should we divide?
What major though?
311 over
311.
1259.
Yeah, so that is a very good question to ask. What major though? Yeah. If the question doesn't tell you what kind of major, that we need to take the total of the sophomore clinic. Okay, Kimberly, I got you. So we need to take the total number of the sophomore in this case. So it doesn't really tell you, it doesn't really tell us what major. It will tell you what is the probability of sophomore and nursing major that we can literally look for this box. But if the questions only ask it like sophomore in general, then we need to take a total of 311, and then we divide it by 1259 as well. So that's really, really important. So again, that we're gonna do it with the total number of sophomores. So when you look at the column total, we have to go all the way down, right? So in this case, that'd be 311, which is that one, right? You have to go all the way down to get 311. If I want to get a total number of junior, I have to go all the way down. That would be 300. If I want to get a total number of senior, I have to go all the way down with 297. But so in other words, we're going to take 311 over again that 1259. So that would be the unchanged, the number of the total number of the students. Okay, and in 4 popular majors. Okay, so that makes sense. So this one is I need to point it out real quick, and so that we can know what we're trying to do. I think I use different marker. It's a little better when we explain. Okay, so that one would be the total of the sophomore. Yeah, of sophomore. And this one would be a total of everything. Still be the total of everything. Yeah, this will be recorded for sure, like 100%. I record every single class. All right, so we should record every single class, no matter what it is, because of the online course. The recording is really important. So now we're going to go to the next part of it, which is part C, I believe. And what is the part C questions? And, right, when it comes to the and, it's the probability of senior and psychology, okay? So, and in this case, we did not multiply them, but what should we do for that? The part C, I'm going to do that. Part C, the probability of the senior and psychology. Okay, so can somebody help me what to do with these questions?
Would you divide the 96 over the 1259?
So the questions pointed out that we need to look for the and, right? So then we have to look for all the way down to the senior in this case, right? And the psychology, I mean, she answers correctly, but I just want to make sure that people got it, right?
So
So when we look for the
297 plus 370 minus 96
no,
over
no,
1259.
it is the or. The or is different. The and, we don't do anything for that. The and has to be the joint. So let me just point it out real quick. The probability of the and will be the joint and divided by the total of everything. Okay? And divided by or. In other words, it's easy. It's really important that we keep that in mind. It's different from the keyword like what we have from the word problem. So if we go back to the notes for the word problem that we need to multiply, but in this type of question, we don't do the multiplication. We don't do any math for that. In this case, that we only taking the joint between the senior and psychology. Okay, so let me just rewrite them. So the probability of the and would be equal to the joint and divided by R. So, so this is a thing that we need to make sure that we got it. And of course, yeah, questions? Any questions? Okay, so, and of course, the joint have to be something that we take the joint between the row and then the column and divided by R. So the joint between the senior and psychology, I do not really point it out. So senior and psychology, that will be 96, right? And over the total of everything, in this case, would be 1259. All right, so we have still have to divide it by total of everything. So that'd be 1259. Are we good? Any concern? Any questions? Any concern for that? So this is the total of the number of senior and psychology. So the joint. Remember that we only take the joint. We do not do any math for that, right? We only take the joint. We do not do any math for senior psychology. So taking the joint. We do not multiply or something like that. Make sure that it's different from the word problem. Some people still do that, like multiply the senior and psychology. It is not true. It is not true for that. So now we're gonna look at another probability. Let's say we look at the probability of, let's say I want you to look for the probability of junior nursing. What should we do? Junior and nursing. What should we do in this case? Junior,
79 over 1259.
79 over 1259. Yes, so that is really good. You guys are very ahead of me. Okay, so junior nursing that we're going to look at a joint. So remember that when we come to the end in this type of questions, then we have to look for the joint. Okay, the joint. Why this is so important? Because on the final exam or second exam, there'll be a question like that as well. So the answer for that will be, so we need to look at the senior nursing. I think I did that. I'm sorry, junior nursing. So that'll be 79 over 1259. So that's pretty obvious. Okay. And I'm going to change the marker real quick. Now we're going to go to the main challenging problem. So that we divide by 1259 in this case. So now I'm going to look at the OR. And this is going to be a pretty challenging thing. So let's say we want to look for the probability of, let me just check the word real quick. The probability of sophomore biology, okay? So E. So I want you to look for sophomore and biology, sophomore or biology. So this is a thing that we want to look at. Okay, so what should we do for the OR? How many ways can we do that? There's so many ways that we can do for this type of question, but the easiest way we're going to look at this. Okay, so we're going to take the sophomore, the total number of sophomore. Everybody sees that. I'm going to take the total number of sophomore, and I'm going to add the total number of psychology. Everybody see that? I'm sorry, biology, I'm sorry. Correct? So when we add up these two numbers, what happens? So let's say I'm going to take 63. So we remember, in order to get a total of 147, we're going to add 63 plus 45 plus 25 plus 14, right? So we're going to add, you're going to get 147. And then the sophomore, we're going to take 90 plus 95 plus 81 plus 45. I got 311, right? So when we add up these values, like we're going to add up like the total number of sophomore in business, in psychology, nursing, and biology major, and then also add the freshman biology, sophomore biology, junior biology, and senior biology, that we got 147. So when we add up these two total, which number that we added twice? Okay, so we add 90 plus 95 plus 81 plus 45, we got 311, right? And then we add 63 plus 45 plus 25 plus 14, we got 147. So when we add up 147 and 311, which number that we added twice?
45.
45, because we add up these four, you get 107, and we add up these four, we got 311. So this one, so remember, when it comes to the OR, that we're not allowed to have to repeat it. We cannot add twice for any repetition for that. So we need to take away 45, and then we divide it by 125 and get the final answers correctly. Okay, so again, when we come to the probability of the OR, this is really, really important. The probability of the OR, then what should we do? I'm going to add up the total of 2 and subtract the joint. So this is basically the same thing that we have learned earlier, right? So again, when it comes to the probability of the OR, what should we do? We're going to add up 2 total and subtract the joint. So let me just put it out real quick and making sure that we understand and know what it is on the exam and final exam. So we're going to add 2 total and subtract the joint. And then we divide it by the total of everything, which is all. Okay, which is all. So in this situation that we're going to add of, we're going to take what? We're going to take a total of sophomore in this case. So the total of sophomore that we have on the list will be 311 plus the total of the biology. So the total of biology, so the biology is on the rows, you have to go all the way to the right. You get 147. But when you add up these 2 values, so we added 45 twice, so we can literally check them. So we add up these 4 numbers, we get this. We add this 4 number, we get that. So we can subtract 45, and then we divide it by 1259. So this is the fattest way that we can do so. Okay.
Wait, but if we eliminated the 45, can 45 still be the joint?
Yes, because the 45 still be the joint because we add twice for that. In fact, there is another way that we can solve this problem. I can take 90 plus 95 plus 81 plus 45. So that would be a total number of sophomore, and I add 63, but I do not add 45 twice. So 63 would be the freshman biology, and we add 25, and we add 14, right? We're going to get the same thing. We're going to get 413 generally, and then we divide it by 1259. How can I check that? I take 311 plus 147, right? And then we subtract 45. We basically get the same thing, right? So in fact, we can't just add up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, but out of these 7 numbers going to be a lot of work on a calculator. In fact, the easiest way that we can do is we going to add up the 2 total. 1 will be the column total, and 1 will be the row total, and then we subtract the joint. We're going to get the OR. Remember, we only add and subtract when it comes to the OR, when the question gives us the keyword and, when we do not add and subtract, right? We only take the joint when the questions give us the and then when it comes to the OR, we're going to add up 2 big and we subtract the joint. So the answers that we have coming from the questions will be 413 over 1259. Okay. Over 1259. So that's really, really important. So this one is 1259 for that. Are we good? Are we good? So this is the only question that we'd have to do math. Now we're gonna do like certain part, and then we go to, let's say, what is the senior or nursing? Okay, senior or nursing. I want you,
Professor.
yeah.
Go back to the question, please. So I could, I thought the joint was we subtract the smallest number, right?
No. The joint is the intersection point between 2 information between the row and the column. So this is what we call a joint.
Well, that's not what it says in the definition.
Yeah.
But okay.
Okay, the joint have to be like the intersections. The joint means the end, in other words. Okay, there'll be the intersections between the row and the column. So this is what we call a joint. Let me just point it out real quick so that we don't make any mistakes on it. So I want you to look for the senior in psychology. What should we do? The joint would be the joint between the row and column. Okay, row and column. So making sure that we understand the definition of a joint correctly, because out of that, we're going to get the wrong answers for this type of question. Okay, so now I want you to look for senior psychology. So how many total number of senior? what should we do? We're gonna look at the total number of senior right there, correct?
297 minus 370. 297 plus 370.
And then we're going to add the total number of psychology, yes. But when you add up these two, what happening?
We subtract 96.
We subtract 96. So generally, when we add, we basically found that like the total number of senior will be, we add the senior business, senior psychology, senior nursing, and senior biology. We got 297. And then we do the same thing for psychology, freshman psychology, sophomore psychology, junior psychology, and senior psychology. We're gonna add them up. We got 370, but when you add up these two numbers, that we add 96 twice, but we cannot allow any repetition for that. So meaning that we need to subtract this and divide it by 1259. So that's really important, right? So we're gonna take 370 plus 297 and subtract 96. So that's going to be very important, and we're going to make it a little bigger. Okay, and then we divide it by 1259. Again, that we always have to divide it by total of everything except for the conditional probability. So there'll be a thing that we need to divide it by a different number. I'm going to show you what it is. Okay, so remember when it comes to the OR, then we're going to add up 2 big, 2 total, and subtract the joint. The joint basically the intersections number between the row and the column. So we take 370 plus 297 and minus 96, right? And we got the answers, which is 571 over 1259.
So the joint is the one that repeats on both of the columns?
The joint would be the intersection, yeah. The intersection
Yeah, right.
between the row and the column, which is right there. Okay, so that's pretty much a thing. And now we're gonna move to the next part of it, will be called conditional. I'm gonna copy the same thing. Again, I'm gonna copy this value, this page, and then I'll do the last 2 questions. All right, so let's deal with that. Right, so this is a thing that we have earlier, and now I would like to look for the question. So whenever the questions give us the conditional probability, so what is we going to have to deal with the last 2 and see what it is? Okay. I have internet difficulty. That's happens. Yeah, I know this happened now. So so this is the F and this is the G. All right. So we're gonna deal with this question. So what the question is asking us, what is the probability of being a junior? So we want to look for what? We need to look for the probability of the junior. Okay, so we want to look for the probability of junior. Given that, so remember the given have to be on a second time. So given, so this is the given. So given the nursing major. So we need, when you do that, we need to put down the we want you to look for the chance of picking a junior major, given that person who majoring in nursing, right? So what's going on for that particular questions is what is the given? The given is making sure that this is the information that we get from. So given that person who majoring in nurse, so what should we do? We only look at the nursing major right there, okay? It is very important. We only look at the nursing major because this is given, right? So we only consider the nursing major only. We do not care about the psychology. We do not care about the biology. We do not care about the business. I'm sorry if you're, if this is one of your major, but this is what the question is asking us. So we only look at the nursing major. This is what the given means to us, okay? So when we look at the nursing major, how many nursing major do we have? The total. How many nursing major? How many total number of nursing major? From the question.
321.
Yes, this is the number that we have to divide because we do not divide it by 1259 because we are categorized only from the people who major in nurse. Okay, so we divided by 321 in this case. Okay, so that's really important. Okay, and so we divided by 321. Okay, so it's really, really important for that. Now, how many junior in nursing major?
79.
9, because we only look at that, right? So we take the numerator, will be 79 over 371. That's it. Are we good? Are we good? So remember that we only considered, remember, given that person's who made a nursing major, so we only look at the nursing first, right? So this is the given. And then we're going to take the total number of junior in the nursing major only. So that'll be 79 over 321. Right? We do not consider the added major in this case because this is the conditional probability. This is the given, meaning that we reduce the sample size. We reduce the number of people. It's no longer 1259. It's only 321 nursing major. And then how many junior in there? 79. That's it. So that'll be the ratio between 79 and 321. Okay, so let me just do that real quick, and then we understand it. The probability of A given B, right? So it's really important. So and make sure that we put it down. Will be what? So that we're going to take the join, the intersections, and then we divide it by the given, which is B. Okay, we divide it by B. So making sure that we get this. And similarly, that we have the questions, what is the probability of being a nursing major given that person is junior? Okay, so in this case, I want you to look for the probability of nursing given that person is junior. So what should we do? What should we do? Is it the same thing or no? Is it? I'm doing to ask the same question that makes no sense. Correct? So I need somebody help me. Which number should we divide?
Ooh,
The
300.
300. Very good. Because in this case, we no longer divide it by the total number of nursing because we told that that person is a junior. So we only look at the junior intersection. So that would be the junior right there, right? So meaning what? We do not care about a freshman, a sophomore, senior years. We only look at the total number of junior, right? So in this case, so that would be 300. It's very good. And so this is 300. And how many nursing in there? How many nursing in junior major? I'm sorry, in junior year?
79.
It would be 79. Very good, right? So the only thing that make them different is actually the denominator. So when I switch them, so of course those are two different probabilities. So what is this? This is I want you to look for the chance I can pick a nursing major out of the junior group. In this case, the chance I can pick a junior majors out of a nursing group. Okay, so those are two different questions. So we gotta be really careful when you do the math. And now we're gonna look at, let's just say we're going to have part G and then part H. I want you to look for the probability of psychology, given that major is sophomore, what should we do? Right, so I want to pick a psychology guy coming from a sophomore year. So that person has to be sophomore year. It cannot be a freshman, it cannot be junior, it cannot be senior. What should we do? So first, that we need to look at which column that we should consider. I want you to look for the person who majored in psychology, given that person is sophomore. So we only look at the sophomore year, correct? right? We only consider the second year of a college in this case. So that would be 311. Are we good? Are we good? Are we good for that? It's really important. And then how many psychology in sophomore year?
95.
Very good. So we just look at 95 and then we figure out the final answers right there. Okay, so 95 over 311. Are we good? Oh no. So we only consider people who have like the sophomore, I'm sorry, psychology in sophomore year, so that'd be 95 over 311. So the only thing that makes this conditional probability different is that we have to divide it by the different denominator. Okay, it's unlike the other question that we have to divide it by total of everything, 1259, 1259, 1259, everything always divided by 1259, except when we have the conditional probability. All right, so we're gonna dealing with one more questions, and I will let you go. I think it's about time. Let's take a look at the one questions real quick. This one is relatively not too bad. This is question number 34, and we can do it that in 2 minutes. Okay. Anyone watch the presidential debates? It was really interesting, correct? Okay, so generally we have 4 different type of questions, right? And then what happened with this? Okay. All right. So we have Honda Civic, and but we need to look for the total. Correct. The total is different. Then we copy and paste right there. Oops. I think I need to get rid of this column first. So we need to look for the total of the row and column. So making sure that the total, the question doesn't give us total, so that would be the thing that we need to look for that. So the white, there'll be a total of 160 plus 240 plus 100. So we have the total of the white was 500, right? And then we're going to look at a total of the black models. So we have 237 plus 135 plus 118. Yeah, this question was a little bit tough. So that'll be 490. And then the total number of the gray models are gray colors. So we have 150 plus 123 plus 137. And the answers for that is 410. And the total number of people who favor red, this is not my favorite colors. So plus 125. And we got the answers, which is 300. And then we do the same thing for the total of the column. So apparently that we can have the total of columns. So it will be the row, so Honda Civic, that we have 160 plus 237. So the reason why this question was hard because we need to add them up, and it doesn't really give us the row total and column total. And so that was 610. Yeah, this one is a little bit challenging. And now we're going to go to the next row. We need to get a total number of Toyota Prius per 240 plus 135 plus 150 plus 85. And apparently that will give us the answer is also 610. And now we're going to get a total of Nixon's. So that'll be 100 plus 118 plus 137 plus 125. And we got 480. And finally, that we need to take a total of everything. We just add up to 610 and 610 and 480, and we got the answers, which is 1700, right? So this will be a total of everything. All right, so so this one will be a total of everything that we might want to consider for this particular questions. All right, so we're gonna continue these questions on Monday. All right, so there will be the quiz on it, the quiz on either and or, right? So that's pretty complicated. There will be a quiz on this particular topic on Monday, which is that one, right? So if it gives you the keyword and, then we need to multiply two number, and then you answer for that. If it gives you the keyword or, you're going to add up two big and subtract the smallest. So this will be the quiz number 2. Any questions?
Is there any homework?
We do have a homework. I think the homework will be on chapter homework 5, I believe. So there will be either and or, and then there will be homework 6 on Monday as well. And then after that, we're going to have the review on Wednesday, and the coming, and then the following Monday will be the exam. So we have the third exam on October 12th. Okay.
That sounds good.
It sounds good. Okay. So I will take attendance, and then I will let us go. So again, that we going to have to review on the exams, and after that, we're going to move on to chapter 6, 7, 8, and 9. So Shayla is here.
I'm here.
Very good. Lennis.
Yeah.
Permandai. Reader. It's not here. Reader Belgium. This is my favorite names. I got you. All right. I love Belgium generally. Ulysses.
I'm here.
Okay. Afri. Okay. We don't have that. Diego. I think Amanda is here. Okay. Diego's here. Yeah. Jose.
Man,
Very good. And then Amanda is here. Damir is here. Yes, Billy is here. Okay. It's not here. Eric.
I'm here, Professor.
Very good. Alan. Arlen is here.
Here.
Emily.
Here.
Katrina.
Here.
Edu. Okay, not here. Virgin's here. Barry's here. Ricardo's here. And Joe's here. Kimberly's here. And Janet.
Here.
Very good. Yes. Stephen. Oh, Edu is here. Let me just double check that. All right. So Stephen's here. Selena is here. And Jason's is here, right? Jason's
Present.
present.
Can you hear me?
Yep. Rob is here. Robert's here. Amber is here. Melinda is here. Okay. Judali. Okay, so not here. Brian's is here. Brian's here? Yeah, Brian's
Present.
absolutely here. Oliver is here. All right, so you guys going to have a great weekend. We're gonna see each other again on Monday. Remember, next Monday we're gonna have this quiz, and then we're gonna cover the rest part of it, have a quiz, and then pretty much after that, Wednesday will be the exam review, and then the following Monday, October 12th, will be the third exam. So you guys going to have a great weekend and enjoy your day. Take care.